Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we are changing it up a little bit. Per fan request, I have one of you out there wanted to know about the plasma bug from Starship Troopers in the D6 universe. So we are here on the Starship Troopers wiki, which we will start. And oddly enough, and thankfully enough for me, if you're really interested in doing this, go to D6 Holocron under their. Let me see if I can do this correctly. Um, D6 Holocron. Oops, wrong ones. Okay. We do have crossovers and they do have Starship Troopers here. So this is where I'm getting the information from. They have gone through, or whoever their authors are, have gone through the trouble of coming up with a lot of stuff. And actually, they came up with a race called the Slims that I'm not overly uh, knowledgeable on. I'll just keep it on the level there. Um, the slim or the skinny or something like that. But either way, it's something I'm not very familiar with. I am familiar pretty much with Starship Troopers. Oddly enough, I remember watching back in the day the cartoon, which expanded on the whole lore a little bit, and they were actually walking around in the for me, like the elemental armor. And oddly enough, in the toy line, in that same armor set, they had actually done a line of the Robotech Defense Force mecha under the Starship Troopers line. So they had gotten the permission to do that. So it's kind of neat and interesting at that time. I know I've got one or two somewhere around here. Not that I'll be able to find it anywhere soon. It's probably packed away in a box somewhere. But getting into the plasma bug here and going from this point on, we will kind of go through the Starship Troopers, bringing that to light for anybody that's interested into this, running it as a D6 universe. Or, and I was thinking about this because I mean the request came in, and I'm sitting here at work, and just my mind being as silly as it is, would this be something that, say, you would run into in a Star Trek, Star Wars kind of scenario, seeing that someone has genetically engineered these bugs to be their frontline troops to help decimate a planet, and then maybe they have a kill switch similar to, say, like the Order 66 were for the clones, so that way they could uh, deactivate the bugs, take over the planet, and go from there. Just throwing that idea out there. So, looking at what we have here for the Starship Troopers wiki, though, a plasma bug is a variant of the arachnid species capable of emitting and discharging plasma towards its enemies. They were capable of moving about 14 kilometers or 8 miles per hour. Let's see, getting into the film universe. Each arachnid was meticulously designed to fulfill a distinct combat role, with plasma bugs designated for planetary defense, anti aircraft defense, and artillery functions. Characterized by their substantial abdomen, plasma bugs possessed the capability to expand and launch plasma bursts into orbit. These bursts wield immense destructive potential, capable of deflecting asteroids or severing capital ships. Um, it is conjectured that the plasma bugs additionally served as launch platforms for spore capsules. History wise, during the initial encounter on Klendathu, plasma bugs discharged plasma projectiles at the Cortez, prompting the vessel to execute evasive maneuvers. During the United Citizens Federation invasion of Klendathu, plasma bugs targeted the fleet in orbit with their plasma discharges. UCF military intelligence initially underestimated the severity of the threat possessed by the plasma, considering it to be sporadic and insignificant. However, this perception proved erroneous when the plasma projectiles struck the fleet, inflicting significant damage and destruction. Plasma bugs were subsequently encountered during the invasion of Planet P engaging the fleet and contributing to the destruction of several vessels, including the Roger Young. Plasma bugs participated in the Battle of Hesperus, emerging as a significant threat during the initial phases of the campaign. Consequently, they were prioritized for elimination to facilitate the Federation's establishment of a foothold on the planet. Encounter reports indicated the presence of both adult and infant specimens on Hesperus, where Federation forces became aware of the plasma bug's formidable frontline defensive capability to discharge lethal streams from their fecal appendages. Anticipating the trajectory of his vessel, plasma bugs targeted the Geronimo with plasma discharges, disrupting its warp propulsion, forcing it to warp near the orbit of OM 1. Plasma bugs were engaged on the planet or in the Battle of um, Kawasha. I'm sure I butchered that one all up. I'm sorry. And subsequently deployed during the Second Battle of Mars. In the later conflict, they directed plasma fire towards Nemesis station in orbit, resulting in its destruction. So, looking at the gallery that we have here, if things want to load up here, if I can get it to go. Okay. These are this is the big bugs that we saw early on. Let's see here. This is an infant, and this has a height of 8 meters, length of 10 meters, speed of 7 kilometers an hour, range about 5,000 meters. Let's see. Oops. Going back to another full size here. Just it's a great storyline, and I'm not going to say it's not. The fact that, yes, we're going up against bugs and everything else, you know, it adds a lot of potential. It really, really does. All right, Roughnecks, Starship Troopers Chronicles. The plasma bugs served as artillery and are bigger than the tanker bugs and have the ability to fire huge volatile globs of plasma from the rear of their abdomens at airborne or distant targets. One of the Roughnecks' missions was to capture a baby plasma bug alive so Psychon researchers, researchers could discover how this plasma is generated. It is said that this bug is used to launch spores into space, yet such functional, function, functionary obsolete compared to the transport bugs, function as a biocruiser for Arachnid's army. Plasma bugs have surprisingly good accuracy in targeting ships in orbit despite being based on the planet's surface. Naturally, these bugs are primarily used for planetary defense, though they also function as defensive guns for hives and artillery against land based targets. During the Homefront campaign, they were used as ship batteries for the transport bugs for ship to ship space combat. This leads to question how these massive bug batteries are able to target or even see their enemy's position, but many theorize that the other bugs act as their eyes. This still has been unproven, though. All right. Let's see. Plasma bugs on a super transport tool. I know that they have a role playing game, so some of this is coming from the role playing game, like these pages right here, which is wonderful. I am really kind of more taken for keeping everything in the D6. I think it works very well in so many instances. So that's me, but I will say I am very partial to it. First appearances are from the original film in '97. We also have Dominant Species, Terran Ascendancy. We have a 2005 video game, Terran Command, Roughneck, Starship Troopers Chronicles, which was the animated series. We also have a miniature game and a role-playing game. Also, we have a scorpion bug and a plasma grenadier bug, which I did not see on D6 Holocron 4 stats. Not seeing that, we can't come up with that in the future. So, with that being said, let's get on over to D6 Holocron stats and see what we have. All right, so getting back over to our D6 Holocron here. This is a Solifuge or Plasma Bug. We have a dexterity of 2D, so that's the same as our Galactic Standard. Has a Plasma Fire of 6D plus 1. That's for our aiming. Perception is 1D plus 1. Our Search is 8D plus 1. Strength is 6D plus 2. So when it comes for our armor and everything, we're going to have to keep that in mind. Brawling is a 8D plus 1. We have Ordinariness. I'm a little lost on that one. I have to look that up myself, but that's a 2D. So we have a move of 3. Size is 7.2 meters long by 9 meters tall, and weight of 7 metric tons. We do have a natural armor, so like I said, we have to keep in mind our strength. So our natural armor is a strength plus 2D plus 2 to resist damage. So that's going to be a 8D plus 4. Let's see, we have a bite, which is a strength plus 3D. Again, that's going to be a 9D plus 2. Don't let it bite you. Plasma fire. Damage is 5D. Scale is going to be capital. And of course, it has range, atmosphere, low orbit. High orbit is a 3. This refers to the number of units from the planet if conducting a space battle. We also have blind sight for 80 meters using non-visual senses such as sensitivity to vibrations, keen smell, acute hearing, and echolocation. A creature with blind sight maneuvers and fights as efficiently as a sighted creature. Darkness and most kinds of concealment are relevant. So it's got you on that one. Let's see. We have a description here. Plasma bugs are arachnid versions of the planetary defense system, and despite their lack of targeting skills or specialized systems, they fulfill their mission objectives admirably. Plasma bugs are ponderously large, almost unable to move on ground, and incapable of burrowing. How the arachnid handle moving plasma bugs from underground hives to their stations on the surface for attack is yet another mystery about these incredibly powerful insects. All right, and that does come to us from our Starship Troopers role-playing game, as well as the Starship Troopers wiki. Getting this out here and getting a start on this. Like I said before, I mean, whether you want to run this as just a straight Starship Troopers, which we'll go through all the stuff here for Starship Troopers. If there's an interest here, I'm game for it. Especially if it's in the D6 universe. I'm very partial to it, and it's a lot of fun. And that's all it's meant to be, is let's just have fun with it. So we'll work on this. We'll just run this as a little series until we run out of material here. Some of this stuff is stuff that I might not know, because I admit there are some, I've watched the movies and I do remember watching the cartoon way back when, but I can't say I remember everything from it. Just going from that point, and I know there's been a couple movies, animated movies for it as well. With that being said, stuff that I'm not as familiar with, it's still interesting, even if it's something that I'm a little lacking on it. To throw it out there to add to the lore and bring it out to you and give it its 5 minutes of glory is all worthwhile. So with that being said, thank you so very much for joining me today. Wonderful to have you here. Hope you're doing well, and I will see you in the next video.